Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Rochester Press Box. Bill Pucko, happy to be here with you, with the guys, as usual, Tariq, Spence.
I have a smile on my face, but I'm very angry with my Giants. Very angry with my Giants.
To be angry about that. We're never in it. There was no suffering involved.
Never in it.
40-0 to the Cowboys. And,
I hate everybody and all of you.
I'm Pat Duffy. Wearing?
What's up, my Fred Smirless?
I would have got that one.
Gamer. Well, not he. The team issued longest sleeves of all time. If I had a big hat, you'd think I was a pope.
Archbishop Williams High School in the Boston area.
See, there you go, Pope.
No
again.
Josh Allen jersey this week. I wonder why.
So there's so much to unpack with the. First of all, my God, 4 snaps in. So we talk about the Buffalo Bill. 4 snaps in, and like the world gets flipped. That was the most surreal moment that I remember.
Well, it's I'm sure Duffy didn't see it coming this way, but it was a disaster. Like it was. I don't think you
didn't
thought
see
of
Aaron
that
Rodgers
disaster.
going down for the season.
But it was a disaster to come in. But let me just can we give the Jets a little bit of credit here in the sense that you're going back now to Zach Wilson, who lost his job, probably lost his position with the Jets. Now we're going to see what him and Rodgers talked about for about 3 months because this kid is going to be the quarterback the rest of the way.
What are you talking
You're
about?
not going to see Rodgers for a year and a half.
You're not going to see Rodgers ever again.
You think he's retiring?
We'll get to that later.
Well, I mean, let's put it this way. Then they find a way to continue to survive, i.e. with Josh Allen helping out the Jets in the game. And then they celebrate like they won the Super Bowl, for crying out loud, in overtime on a return. Give the Jets credit. They can ride this for a couple of months and then fall off. Yes, they can.
Well, let's not make it all about the Jets. There's a lot to unpack on the other side too. First and foremost, I guess the topic of conversation is like this deep into his career, do we actually expect Josh Allen to change?
No, and here's the thing. He's good for a game or two like that every season. You just have to hope it comes at the right time, right? Like you look at what happened in Jacksonville a couple of seasons ago. Last year, he didn't really have one of those games. That loss against Cincinnati in the playoffs was a full team disaster, right? The Meadowlands is a house of horrors for Josh. Even when the Bills are winning in New York, they're close games. And don't get me wrong, man. I knew that defense was good in New York. We knew the defense was good in New York. I just don't understand in the position that you were in with the Jets unable to drive the ball down the field the entire game, why they were so reckless. And look, it's on Josh, man. I look at that. It's also on Ken Dorsey, the offensive coordinator. Why do you continue to put your quarterback in that position when you know that a 10-point lead coming out of halftime is essentially the Great Wall of China?
I give him credit. He's going at Josh Allen. And Josh even took it as a professional even after the game. He knows full well what he did wrong. The question is, can you get this out of him? We talked about this off air. Are we at a point now where, okay, fine, Dable, a great offensive coordinator, he's gone now. Now it's Dorsey. It's the same guy. We're getting the same guy with 2 different coordinators and a head coach saying, you got to think, and he's not thinking. He's admitting he's not thinking. So do we live or die with the quarterback?
He keeps saying it, and then he keeps doing it. And as disturbing as all the turnovers were, and by the way, I think I saw this stat, it was like 37 in his last 19 games, either between fumbles or interceptions. That's a lot.
Actions speak louder than words.
The other thing is like he won't slide. He spent the whole offseason saying, I've got to take better care of myself, and there were really 2 or 3 plays where he absolutely had nothing to gain by taking a hit, and he took the hit.
It comes down to this, and there's been a lot of breaking down all week about what do you do with Josh Allen, how do you fix this? It's unfixable unless you do this. Every game you watch where Josh Allen is comfortable, he doesn't make those mistakes. When Josh Allen is comfortable, he doesn't play reckless with his body like he does. He plays like he's trying to win the game on every single play.
A mistake.
That happens when he knows that he is under siege, when he knows that the other team is within a 1-possession game of him, and that's when the mistake happens. If you can give Josh the ability to breathe, all of this is fine. If you can scheme things where Josh has the ability to take his time and go through his progressions like Dable did in the last year they were together, everything is fine. It's when he feels like he's the one that has to do it all, it goes bad.
But you know, Duffy, he had 6 possessions where he could have done exactly what you did on any one of those possessions, probably scored, probably taken a 2-touchdown lead in that game. That game was a close game mainly because he teams to take the entire team on his back every single drive, and you don't need to do that.
No, but that's the point that I'm making. That's also on the coaching staff to say, look, we don't need to call these plays. I'm not going to give him the ability to throw a 40-yard bomb when we have a 10-point lead against
Well,
a
give
team
me a
that
real
can't drive
quick
the ball.
answer because it's a complex question. It requires more. But is it Dorsey? Is it Allen? I know it's both. What's percentage?
Well, look, I mean,
who's got to take the heat here?
It's 70% Allen because he's the one making the decisions, and he would tell you that himself. But I do think it's a significant part of Ken Dorsey. Give him the ability to not shoot himself in the foot.
Last word.
Give him a running game. I've been saying it for the last 3 years. And the problem is it takes the ball out of his hands and puts more time on the clock for the defense to recover. I've been saying it for years. It's the last time I'll say it, and then I'll leave it alone.
It won't be the last time you say
You're right,
it.
I just lied.
This
You're
is the
right.
Rochester Press Box. We're making our picks in the Bills game, and Greg Connors joins us next. Just passing through. J-Mac, Soccer Sam Fantuzzo, Loretta Scott, Joe Beard, 29 in all, life lessons from notable Rochesterians. Available now.
I have some travel books, Volume 1, Volume 2. You'll be able to get one of these books for free when you buy the new Volume 2 for only $14.95. Contact me at MikeTheGetawayGuy@gmail.com.
Our Buffalo Bills segment brought to you by Connors of Ferris, your trusted and dedicated workers' comp attorneys and proud sponsor of Buffalo Bills Training Camp.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us here on the Rochester Press Box. We're doing picks. Our picks are brought to you by Connors and Ferris, your workers' comp attorneys. And Greg Connors joins us. Greg, welcome.
Man, thanks for having me.
You split your games last week. We're playing the Bills at -9.5. Who you got on that line?
Well, after coming off that Jets game, I think the Bills' offense has a lot to prove. So I'm going with the Bills +9.5 over the Raiders.
Yeah, the Raiders home opener, and we always get a secondary game. So you're staying in the AFC East.
I'm going to stay in the AFC East. You know, the Dolphins did me right last week, but this week I think the Patriots, they finished hard against the Eagles. I think they're going to win over the Dolphins +2.5.
That's going to be a good game. Guys, what do you think about those?
Oh, that's definitely the Patriots game. That game against the Eagles was very close. I like that. I like the pick on that one.
Look, I'm sorry. I'm so done with Belichick. I am completely done with Belichick. Like,
it's the emotion. He's going with the emotion on this already.
He's
Here
one
we
of
go.
the worst head coaches against the spread over the last 3 years. They give him so much credit in Vegas. I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
Greg, you were on the Dolphins last week. That was some game, the one at L.A.
Oh, that was fantastic. I mean, Tua played probably his best game as a professional, but they matched up really well against that Chargers defense. But this week, I think Belichick, they just have their number, and I think the Patriots are going to get one back for us.
Just quickly, between what happened to Aaron Rodgers and what you saw out of Miami and what the Bills did, who do you see as the favorite in this division right now?
Well, I think right now, I had the Jets being the favorites when you have Aaron Rodgers at quarterback with that great defense. But now I think the Bills jump to the top of the AFC East.
Oh, he's just trying to be disagreeable.
I'm with him on that. He's right about that one.
He was right before Aaron Rodgers got hurt.
Let me go to you first. Who you got? We're picking the Bills game, and give me another one too.
Bills, I think they win at home. I think emotionally, especially after the way that Jets game ended, I think they'll be ready to play, especially against a team coming all the way from the other coast. So that should be fun. So I take the Bills in that game. And I got to pick my New York Football Giants. I think that they will come back against Arizona in Arizona. I think Arizona's tanking.
Hope or think?
Well, both. You can have both. I can hope and think.
Hope is not a plan.
Well, I think we have a serious problem with the Giants if they lose to Arizona, a team that is tanking to try to get a quarterback, even though nobody wants to say that.
I would say you have a serious problem when you lose 40-0 at home at opening
You
night.
worry about your team getting the win. That's what you need to
But
do.
here's the
What do
thing.
you got?
With the Bills, I mean, they're going to get the win against Oakland. And here's the thing. There's going to be a point where they're up 17, 20 points, but I see a backdoor cover. Double digits to cover the spread is a hell of a lot of points. The Bills win. They don't get the 9.5 out of Las Vegas.
You got another game?
Minnesota's going to Philly, and they are 7-point dogs. Philly is not as good as they are last year. We saw that earlier this week. Minnesota is not as bad as that opening game they played, and they have so many explosive weapons on offense. I think that Minnesota keeps it within 7 against Philadelphia.
All right, I'm going to play the Raiders because I think the Bills have got a little bit of self-doubt going here. LA's got an extra day of rest. I agree, that whole coming East thing is an issue, but it's 9.5 points. I got to play the Raiders. And the other one I like, and I know you hate it, I like the Jets this week going to Dallas and getting 9.5. I think there's some momentum with what they accomplished in the first day.
Momentum of what? They just lost the quarterback. They spent $39 million.
They lost him in 5 minutes and still won the game.
And that gives them something. You see teams do this all the time, though. When they've got something to prove on the short term, it can be a real plus.
You watched it on Monday night. It's now over. It's
But the score's
over.
going to be 12-9.
And that covers. I mean, that's what I mean, a running game and a defense. That covers a 9.5 point. So thank you for your contributions and your support, Greg. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Greg Connors, Connors and Ferris, your workers' comp attorneys, like it or not, is next. Here's the Press Box Trivia question brought to you by Market View Liquor, where exceptional customer service meets an extensive selection. Jefferson Road.
Hey, hello again. Mike O'Brien, your getaway guy. Are you ready for one of the most amazing getaways here at Niagara Falls, USA? Come along for the ride. It's Cave of the Winds. Look for the Getaway Guy on Facebook.
Here's the Press Box Trivia answer brought to you by Market View Liquor, where exceptional customer service meets an extensive selection. Jefferson Road at 390. Welcome back to the Rochester Press Box, our Like It or Not segment brought to you by Sport Clips. Where the MVP experience is better than ever, Sport Clips, it's a game changer. No appointments are needed. Stop by a Rochester location today. Like it or not, what's the like? I have to hand you the New York Giants.
Oh, please do. Please give me the New York Giants and the belief that Brian Daboll had in Daniel Jones and the offense and Saquon Barkley in the start of the season and the Cowboys throwing interceptions in the preseason. You know what it would amounted to? A team that was not prepared. I know Daboll blamed the coaches. I blame Daniel Jones. You cannot get the bag and go out there and perform that poorly. I hate to say this. Listen, I know the Giants had no alternative to go with Jones. You could have gone in another direction, but they had the momentum. They believe in him. They better win this week, and I'm picking them this week. I'm telling you right now. Yeah, darn right. All the chips in the middle.
The Jones thing is like a classic, and I think you see it happen all the time. If you give the guy a lot of money, you expect him to be better.
Yes.
Yet he is what he is,
yes.
Whether you're paying him X or 2X.
But you didn't even give him a lot of money. That was like the coupon deal of NFL quarterbacks. And I did say it was too much. Somebody wanted to yell at me a couple of months ago, but what do I know, Tariq? What do I know?
Hey, listen, there's the alternative to either get young or get professional. Daniel Jones was not professional. He's a young quarterback that, I'm telling you, the clock is ticking on him for this season primarily because of that.
At least after a long day of football, they gave us a chance to kind of rest.
That's what angers me the most. All day I'm watching football, and I'm like, well, can't wait for 8 o'clock. 8:45. I want this game over with.
So, Duffy, like it or not, the NBA's got a plan to limit load management.
I do find it funny because what was the rule? It was something along the lines of if they are you can't sit an all-star and all-pro, two of them at the same time, which actually doesn't apply, if I'm not mistaken, to the NBA champion Denver Nuggets, which says something about load management in the first place. Yet, it does apply to several teams you wouldn't think. I believe the Chicago Bulls would be affected by this, and more than anybody, the Golden State Warriors. You can't sit more than one person. Their whole team qualifies underneath this umbrella. But here's the thing, and Bill, you know this from back in the day. All of a sudden, everyone's going to have a strained lower back or a sore calf. Like this is good. All this is the NBA giving lip service to people who buy tickets and say, whoa, we do whatever
I totally agree.
Right? Like, that's all it is.
But the one thing, the addendum to it, and the part was disturbing to me because if you're trying to protect the fan who's paying all this money to go to the game, the addendum was on nationally televised games.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we only care about the TV audience. You guys can still go do whatever.
Well, here's the thing. Most of the time you see these big-time stars on the road. There's so many nationally televised games in the NBA. It would take care of a lot of it. Look, you want to fix this? Just offer the ability to exchange tickets to fans. You're still keeping the money, right? You're going to open up people that want to see good teams. If I find out 48 hours in advance that there's going to be a load management game, just give me the ability to exchange a ticket for another ticket down the road. Is that fair?
Then nobody would go to those
He's
games.
brilliant. Take his idea, NBA. Take it right now. Just pause it. Put it there. Understand, if I go to Milwaukee and I can only see Steph Curry once or twice a year, if that, and he decides not to play that game for whatever reason, injury or load management or forever, I would like that opportunity back. I might not ever get the chance to go to Golden State.
I think the league is doing this just to say, hey, we care,
Yeah.
even though they know there's nothing they can do about it.
You're absolutely
Our
right.
Like It or Not segment brought to you by Sport Clips. Unfinished Business is next.
The Press Box Stat of the Week is being brought to you by McArdle's Restaurant in Fairport. Come home to McArdle's.
And now to Eichel. He floated one.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us here. Rochester Press Box. It's time for Unfinished Business. Pat, start us off.
So we talked a couple weeks ago about the 65% threshold. If Aaron Rodgers took that many snaps, percentage of snaps for the Jets this season. If he did, the second round pick the Jets were sending to Green Bay would become a first round pick. Well, now that's not something you have to worry about anymore. The Jets retain their first round pick, which actually creates a bigger problem for New York. Now, as we tape this, we don't know what Aaron Rodgers' plans are. Maybe he won't know for a couple of months. But at 38 years old, to have to rehab from a blown Achilles to come in and play for a team you've never played before is a tall ask. What's great for the Jets is you're not going to re-sign Zach Wilson, obviously. You have that first round pick to draft your new quarterback, which probably is going to be a really high pick. Unless Aaron Rodgers, having invested all he has in New York, decides he wants to come back and play next season. Aaron Rodgers, if you look back in history, does not like when the team he's starting for takes quarterbacks instead of things to help him out. And the Jets definitely need offensive line help. So what do you do if Aaron Rodgers wants to come back? It's going to be for a season at the most. Do you get him a rookie offensive lineman to protect him? Rookie offensive linemen traditionally don't play well. And by the way, when Aaron Rodgers retires the year after that, that rookie offensive lineman will be protecting exactly nobody. The thing to do is to draft a quarterback. But again, because you got in bed with Aaron Rodgers and got everything he wanted, except for your biggest weakness, which was an offensive line, you're stuck dealing with the irrational mind of Aaron Rodgers, even when he's not playing. Bravo! Somehow the Jets screwed this up more than even I could have imagined.
So for all of you haters out here that love to throw out all that venom and then disappear later on when the person you hated on the most actually accomplishes the goal, why don't you just stay lost? I don't know why you would even comment on anything that has to do with a 19-year-old who's playing tennis, like Coco Gauff, and hate her career. She's 19 years old and playing a sport you can't play. So what does Coco Gauff do? Use that hate as fuel. And yes, the haters do deserve some credit for fueling her to get to the ultimate, a championship at the U.S. Open. Same thing goes for Deion Sanders, where the haters have all sort of disappeared within the last couple of weeks or so. Now that Colorado has now doubled their win total from last season, and now everybody seems to be looking for their next Coach Prime. The haters have disappeared. They've gone. He'll ruin college football. They won't win more than one game. They won't win any games. All the kids were kicked off the team. No, 20 of them were offered a chance to leave, and the others decided to leave on their own. He turned the entire roster around, and now everybody who is a celebrity wants to go to Colorado, not to see Russell Wilson, but to go see Coach Prime and the storm that they have going on right now. I don't know what it is, but haters, keep doing what you're doing because it's only fueling the success.
Tennis is a great sport, and it deserves credit for being something other than a feeder system for future pickleball players. Perhaps you were vaguely aware that the U.S. Open Finals were played last weekend. Coco Gauff won the women's title at age 19, becoming the youngest American since her idol, Serena Williams, did the same thing 24 years earlier. Gauff is a real star. An American hasn't won on the men's side in 20 years. But we have two ranked in the top 10 in Frances Tiafoe and Taylor Fitz, along with some promising young talent. The U.S. Open is one of those events I really want to attend someday. Still, I didn't give it a single thought over the weekend because championship week at the U.S. Open coincides with the beginning of the National Football League season. And the NFL elbows everything out of its way while taking up all the air in every room. The men's tennis final on Sunday finished 7th in the television sports ratings to every time slot the NFL occupied, including the 2 early pregame shows. A solution seems simple enough. The Open could lay claim to Labor Day weekend if it chose to, simply by moving it up 1 week. But that would require admitting that tennis is running from football, even while it should. Going head-to-head with the NFL when you don't have to is a battle you're just not going to win, no matter how great you think you are. That is our unfinished business, and that is our program. Tariq, man, you're angry at everything.
Yeah, like a Bills fan against New England Patriots all these years later.
Shut up, Tariq!
Thank you for that. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next week on the Rochester Press Box.
Only told the truth.
Sorry I blew your board over there.